Hey there, and welcome to the video. This is a little bit different from usual, different from what you're used to seeing in this channel. But I want to do stuff like this. I want to talk about wrestling. And I thought, why not talk about the Cruiserweight Classic Episode 1, which just aired last night. Yeah. It. It was good. It was good. There was very good wrestling. Very good wrestling. Very good matches. It really did. I know that it's a bunch of guys from the indie scene, but it really did represent the indie scene. It represents what we can see there. It was almost like, in some ways, it was almost like an episode of Ring of Honor and not a WWE program, which is great to see because let's face it, WWE programming, really isn't that great. You get the odd really good Monday Night Raw every now and again after a big pay-per-view like say WrestleMania, but you never really, a good show on Monday Night Raw is, even for that, most of the time on SmackDown, isn't a common thing, and it's really NXT that delivers that quality, and here we saw a fantastic performance here from 8 individuals, and I really hope Vinnie Mac himself was watching, because there's some guys here that need to be signed up and need to be treated well. Guys like Johnny Gargano should be on a more permanent contract. Guys like PJ Perkins, Defy is a top heel. Kota Ibushi, one of the best. Zack Sabre Jr., quite possibly the best technician in the world. And those guys there that could be signed up to a permanent deal, and I hope that they do, and only if they're treated right. Obviously we see what happens with some of the top guys. Guys like Matt Sydal, who was there as Evan Bourne, who left, and now look at him, he's on top of the world over in New Japan, over just around the world, traveling and just dominating the wrestling scene in many ways. But yeah, guys like Drew Galloway as guys like Drew Galloway coming in as Drew McIntyre, who was completely forgot about in his time at WWE. But then, I apologise if you hear that background noise. My dog is trying to get attention. But yeah, guys like Drew Galloway, guys like Matt Sydal, all these top talents that just weren't treated right, and they leave and then they take over the world in many ways. But yeah, so as for the wrestling, I thought it was fantastic. I really enjoyed it. I was skilled that in many ways it would become a complete sport fest, because don't get me wrong, I like a good sport as much as the next guy, but I like to see it sort of, I like to see a match done right, so to speak. I'm not going to sit here and put people down for having a great sport fest matches like Big Jimmy Cornette would. But Big Jim Cornette is one hell of a guy, huh? But like that match with Ricochet and Will Ospreay that people said destroyed wrestling. Nah, man, like that was true art at its core, and fantastic match. What was it, a wee bit over choreographed? You could say that, but those guys put on a fantastic match, risking their lives, because you slept doing some of that stuff that they're doing, and broke with neck easily, in many ways, but yeah, I was scared of it being a sport fest, because I think that if you're gonna have a first round match like that, you should try and ease into it. You should try and be a wee bit more protective of each other, and I think that they did that really well. Obviously we saw the odd spots which you need to see build up the excitement, and we saw that from Alexandru Sai, I believe his name is, Alexandru Alexandru Sai, I think it's Sai. I'm not sure. I apologise. My pronunciation of a lot of sort of foreign names is very poor. But he had a great, he had a great shooting star press. I believe it was him shooting star press off the apron onto Gran Metallic, and that was a fantastic spot to just include in there. I felt like he was a heel character though, and I think that maybe Gran Metallic should have took that spot. But I'm not going to take away from anybody here. Not for right now. But yeah, it was a fantastic match. They put in that little spot there. Gran Metallic had quite a few wee spots in there, jumping to the outside, stuff like that you would expect a luchador to do, and really that's what he needs to do. He needs to take those risks, and I think that's the story that they were putting across, and and it paid off for him, because if I mind rightly, he did win that match. He did. He won that match, and and they told the story well. That's what I like about these here sort of one match stories. Stories told in one match is, when it's done well, it's done great, and that's what happened here. With in this case, they told the story well. Alexandru Sai was one of the bigger guys here in the tournament, and they sort of done that sort of underdog-like mentality that you could do with a luchador going up against a heavyweight. But in this case, it was done in a different dynamic, because we saw two cruiserweights, but it was just one cruiserweight was so much bigger than the other, and they done that really, really well. So then we moved on to the second match, which was Ho Ho Lun taking on Defy, and man, Ho Ho Lun is not somebody that I'm familiar with. I will not lie there. I knew of him sort of. I knew the name, but I didn't really know the guy. If you know what I mean. Fantastic guy. Fantastic performance in this match. Defy came out, and I was disappointed with the end result of this match. I won't lie. Defy came out. As soon as he walked through that curtain, he was booed. He really embraced that heel role, and he did it fantastically. So he comes out to the ring, and so they're doing this. You probably watched this, otherwise you probably wouldn't be watching this. But if you haven't, the presentation of it is more of a sport-like presentation, and I don't like the way that they show the winner personally, because I think that if you play the music and they celebrate it, what's the point in showing who's the winner? But I digress. It's just, I like the start of the match where they do the handshake, showing respect to each other, almost like that Japanese style thing to do. And MMA, and other sports like this. So they come out, and Defy comes out second, I believe. Yeah, he comes out second. He booed from the moment he stepped from behind that cone. And he really embraced that role, and he plays that heel role very, very, very well. And I believe that's he is a heel outside of WWE, WWE's Cruiserweight Classic, and he comes. By the way, this isn't Defy. This is from the rest, from WWE. This is his younger brother, but he comes out and. They do that handshake thing, but Defy doesn't shake his hand, almost like a mark of disrespect, something that you would expect a great heel to be able to do and pull it off well, and he does. And from that moment on, then it's just pretty damn fantastic match, and he through that whole match he plays that heel character. Ho Ho Lun sort of plays the sort of there was no character on the back foot, really, but Ho Ho Lun really did that face character well, and he must be a face, otherwise he probably wouldn't be doing a lot of the acrobatic stuff that he does. But yeah, it was a really, really good match, very technical in some in some parts of it. With Defy being there, he seemed to be quite a technical wrestler. Again, this is a guy that I don't know much about. really, I knew of him, but that's that's about as far as it goes with me on that front. Unfortunately, but yeah, I knew of him, but that's sort of as far as it goes for me. But yeah, he did very well. They both did very well. But Ho Ho Lun comes away with the win, and at this point I'm annoyed, almost. Not annoyed because I watched a good match, but I wasn't particularly happy with that finish. I won't lie. I wanted to see Defy win, just because I like that heel face dynamic, and I know that technically they haven't really got a face, they haven't really got a heel sort of divided going on here, but I do like having that face heel sort of dynamic in a match, and not necessarily all matches. There's so many great matches where we see a face go up against a face and they do it well. Sami Zayn versus Shinsuke Nakamura, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Finn Balor. There's so many matches like that, and I'm all for that, because you do a really, really good dynamic of respect for each other, especially when it's two veterans like Sami Zayn and Nakamura and Finn Balor. Really, really good dynamic there. But I wanted to see Defy go through, and he was somebody who I thought they could have took to the final of this. As that heel character, as that sort of heel character, he's somebody that you could have took to the final. You could have had dominate his way to the final. And when you finally get to the final, and he goes up against somebody like Zack Sabre Jr., Bushi, Gargano, TJ Perkins, and they finally overcome this heel character, you have that big erupted, that huge big erupted sort of crowd reaction whenever the heel finally gets taken down. Like that sort of old school reaction from a crowd, and that's what I wanted to see here. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. But I'm not gonna completely bash them for it. This is a tournament, and and it's been very good so far. So unfortunately the finish wasn't there for me, but it was a good finish. It was a good match, and I enjoyed it. Defy, really, I hope WWE picks up a contract from him, because WWE need really, really top heels like that who can who have the crowd hating them from the moment they walk out. But yeah, and I apologise for that. But yeah, I hope WWE need that top heel guy. They need that top heel to come in and really dominate. Guys like Rusev, but somebody there's so many heels now that are sort of anti-heels that people like, even though they're bad guys. And don't get me wrong, I like some of those bad guys too. I'm inclined to go for a bad guy than one of the faces. But guys like Kevin Owens, who the crowd just erupts whenever he comes out. But if you have somebody like Defy hold the WWE Championship for like a year, and like this was thinking long term, and you have somebody like a Sami Zayn, the world's nicest man, and one of those type of guys that the crowd just loves, and you have them at WrestleMania go up against each other. Defy undefeated for as long as he's had that title, and Sami Zayn wins. That's a huge pop you get, and it's a real memorable WrestleMania moment. It's Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant sort of moment almost. Obviously not as legendary, but you get the point that I'm making here. So we move on then. Cedric Alexander goes up against that is a good question actually. Who did Cedric Alexander go up against? Clement Petoit. I'm sorry again, I'm not great at these pronunciations. this was another one of those good matches, and this here guy Claimant is another guy that I don't know too much about, but he's another top heel in this tournament. He was another top heel who came in. He was here from the offset, from walking out that curtain. I don't think he was as good as a heel as Defy, in my personal opinion, but he was a top heel. People, booed him. Cedric Alexander, people loved him, and they come out, that was two really top heels in this tournament so far. Defy and Claimant, and they come out and they do the business, and they get people to hate them, and they feed into that. They use that to drive them forward. Now with Claimant, now his dynamic was a little bit different from the handshake. He did shake Cedric Alexander's hand, but he sort of pulled him towards him and stared him down, and that was another good dynamic to go for, because here's the fact, like, you don't want a second person to not shake the hand, especially on the same night. Leave it a week or two. We leave it a week, 2 or 3 weeks. To do that spot again. Maybe you do it. Maybe the next time you do it is whenever Defy it goes into the next round. If he was going through into the next round, then that can be his whole thing through the competition, and that just gets people to hate the man. But with this here, Claimant, he shakes his hand, but he pulls him towards him and stares him down right into the eyes, and it was fantastic to see that dynamic. And Cedric Alexander plays into it well. He sold it well, and sort of stares him back, and the match begins, and it was a good match, I must say. Claimant didn't really use too much of the sort of dirty tactics sort of dynamic that that a heel could be using, and personally I would have liked to have seen that sort of something like really stupid, like taking off the tape from your wrist or something like that, throwing it down, and the referee having to turn his back to 40 at the ring, and then maybe going in for a cheap shot, something like that, just something to get the crowd really to hate you even more. But it was a good match, and I'm not going to talk too much about this match because I've talked long enough, and I think as far as talking about heels, I've talked enough with Defy. But Cedric does pick up the win here again. This was one of those things where I wanted to see the heel go through, but I'm a fan of Cedric Alexander, despite my TEW Ring of Honor my Ring of Honor game that I'm playing on my channel. I am a Cedric Alexander fan, I won't lie. I enjoy his work, he's fantastic, he's good at what he does. And I did want to see him go through, because I think that this is a chance for somebody like Finney Mac to look at him and go, this is a guy that we need on our roster. And I hope that does happen, and I hope he just gets signed up at the end of this, as long as he's treated well again, like that's the important thing. But yeah, Cedric Alexander, he goes up against Claimant in this match, and he wins, and it's good. It's good crowd reaction, and that's what I'm going to talk about, and as far as this here one goes, because I could be talking about heel face dynamic again, but I've talked about that enough. But then we get to the main event, and we see Sean. I'm terrible at these. Maluta. He is a member of the Samoan dynasty, of course, and I don't know if he's wrestled before, like outside of the Cruiserweight Classic, or if this is, Daniel Bryan did say that he was an upstart, which tells me that he's a new guy, which would kind of annoy me if that is the case with him, because it's somebody that's just been fast tracked to there, and I'd rather see somebody like Matt Sydal come in, who could yeah, as far as I can tell, I can't see anything of his but Yeah. So if he is just this was really the beginning of his career, if this is true, and he had a good match with Bushi. Was it as good as what we could have saw? No, but it was a good match between him and Ibushi. I enjoyed this match. I really enjoyed this match actually. I really enjoyed this match. Kota Ibushi is just he is one of those guys that you can watch and just man, like he is just amazing. Now I was skilled with Sean Maluta being a member of this one dynasty. I was skilled that they would put him over Ibushi, which I didn't think would actually happen, but I was just so skilled that it would happen. And Ibushi wins, which is good. Ibushi should have won, but there was one pinfall in particular where Sean Maluta throws his body over the top of Ibushi's, and it was a near fall. I was scared that was going to be the end of it, but it wasn't. Ibushi continued on, completely changes the tide of the match, and it was a very back and forth match, but so he didn't really change the tide of it, but he picks up the win, and it was fantastic to see. Being able to see Ibushi in a WWE ring is amazing, and he puts on a one hell of a match. Sean Maluta, if this really is just sort of the start of his career, fair play to him, because he held his own in many regards against Ibushi, and I'm very happy that Ibushi went over, but I also very much liked seeing that match between them both, and there wasn't really any clear sort of heel face divide here in this match, which is okay. As I say, I don't mind that, although I do like the dynamic, but the way that they done this, the way that they had this match, it was fantastic. And I really enjoyed this match. I wouldn't say it was my favourite match. I would probably say my favourite match was Defy and Ho Ho Lun, but it was a good match. And now this sets up Cedric Alexander taking on Kota Ibushi, which will be a fantastic match to watch. I'm sure of it. Looking forward to seeing who will be wrestling next week. I'm not sure who it will be yet. I haven't seen it. I don't know the order of the fixtures, because it was kind of all over the place. I thought they were going to do like the first 4 matches on the brackets, but they didn't. They sort of done 2 from different sides, which is okay. I'm okay with that. But yeah, it was it was good. It was good. I enjoyed it. I really did enjoy it. It was a good night. It was a good time watching. But so what did I not enjoy about this? Okay, so the fire didn't go through. Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy that. But I'm not gonna Ho Ho Lun, fair enough, did well, fantastic performance, deserves to go through. I find that Defy deserves to go through too, but I'm not gonna just no. Ho Ho Lun, well done. Now, I don't like the whole raising the hand at the end, sort of very UFC boxing style, and I get it, they want it to be more of a sports style presentation. That's fine, I can deal with that, but I just don't see the point of playing the music and then having them celebrate and then having interrupt that, just let the event fall through. But I'm not gonna, there was one thing that really annoyed me, was I think it was in the 3rd match, near the end of the 3rd match, possibly at the start of the last match. Maldonado said that each match had a 20-minute time limit. Now, I never held this. I'm not sure if they said this beforehand, but that really annoyed me, because that should be told at the start of the night. It should be said in the introduction of the first match. Just put it in there that every match will be a 20-minute time limit. Maybe you put a clock on the screen if you're going to do a time limit on it. But that really annoyed me, and it really did annoy me. Because this is one of those rules that we barely know about. Yeah, it's there, and I don't know if the crowd knew this, and if a match went 20 minutes and they stopped it, I'm not sure if the crowd would know straight away that was the that was the deal. Now, okay, so that annoyed me, because there's other rules in WWE that are like this, where people don't know about them, but the rules in the matches, like in a tag team match, you can only interfere once in a pinfall, and then you're disqualified if you do it again. But nobody knows that, because they never say it and they never enforce it. Like, imagine seeing a heel tag team, they use up the one save, the one tag team save, and then the second guy's about to be pinned to the 3 count, and then his tag team partner comes in and gets him disqualified, and they keep the title. It's like, that's such a good dynamic. Why not use that sometimes? Because apparently it's a rule, but we don't know about this, and I found it out from a podcast. I know so much rules like this where it's like, why don't we know about them? Because they introduce a interesting dynamic. But yeah, so back on track. First episode, I wish we saw the Fire go through. Claimant, I think, could have been paired up with somebody else to put him through. Maybe you give him one of the Sierra brothers to put him through, so we have that heel going through, another heel going through. But apart from having only sort of face characters go through, I'm happy enough with this. I really am. This was a good event. It was a breath of fresh air from a normal WWE program. Now I know that NXT is, that's where we really get the quality from, but it was nice to see something other than NXT with that sort of quality. And the sort of set almost felt a little bit Ring of Honor-y, but only times 10, obviously, because it's WWE and they have to have it looking spot on. But it really did feel like something like that, sort of like a Ring of Honor TV show set, but only, obviously WWE style, and I like that about it. And I like the look of the set. I wish it looked a wee bit more sort of. It's something that I find with all WWE sets, they look too stylized. But apart from that, I can't complain about this event tonight. It was a good. Last night. I just watched it this morning. It was a good start to the tournament, and I look forward to seeing more matches. And I'm not sure if I'll do this every week, a review for each match every week, but I definitely will be doing an overall one. But yeah, I enjoyed this, so I'm just going to go and end it here, guys.